Tracy Lords. Nora Kuzma was only 15 when she forged a driver's license, dyed her hair platinum, and rebranded herself as Tracy Lords, headlining more than 24 explicit features in less than 2 years. In July 1986, the FBI discovered her true age. Distributors scrambled to pull every tape from storefronts, and the industry slipped into crisis mode. Yet Lords refused to retreat. In 1988, she took her first fully legal role as a nurse-turned-alien hunter in Jim Wynorski's neon-soaked remake Not of This Earth, produced under the Roger Corman banner. The shoestring sci-fi hit the midnight movie circuit, followed by John Waters' retro musical Cry Baby, where Lords parodied her own notoriety with a snarling grin. Through the 1990s and 2000s, she piled up camp horror credits, Blade, Excision, and wrote-directed shorts that premiered at indie festivals, eventually earning a SAG card and cult hero status as the woman who turned a legal nightmare into a fiercely curated second act. Marilyn Chambers. In 1971, Procter & Gamble packaged Purity around ivory snowboxes featuring fresh-faced model Marilyn Briggs cradling a baby. Months later, under the name Marilyn Chambers, the same face starred in the Mitchell Brothers' Behind the Green Door, an underground hit whose notoriety rested on interracial intimacy and hypnotic montage. The jarring double image shattered middle American comfort, but launched Chambers as a counterculture icon. Rather than flee, she jumped genres. In 1977, rising auteur David Cronenberg cast her as Rose, a surgery patient whose botched graft turns her into a vampiric plague carrier in Rabid. With minimal dialogue and haunting restraint, Chambers anchored the film's body horror allegory of desire as infection, proving she could convey terror and tragedy far beyond titillation. She spent subsequent decades balancing live show engagements with exploitation thrillers, always upfront about her past and fascinated by the push-pull of purity and provocation that defined her public image. Sasha Gray. At 18, Marina Ann Hanses adopted the stage name Sasha Gray and walked into the mature feature world brandishing books by Bataille and Sade. Her matter-of-fact interviews rattled pundits who expected shame or coyness. 3 years later, Steven Soderbergh cast her as Chelsea, a luxury escort drifting through the antiseptic economy of the girlfriend experience. The camera's static gaze, paired with Gray's detached realism, reframed intimacy as a transaction, more sociology than fantasy, and newspapers that had never listed her name suddenly dissected her performance in op-eds. Gray leaned into the liminal space she'd opened. Techno DJ sets in European clubs, philosophical essay collections, voice work for video games, and guest roles in experimental art films. By refusing to renounce the choices behind her fame, she blurred the line between underground and art house until it disappeared. Ginger Lynn. If your local video store had a beaded curtain in the 1980s, Ginger Lynn's smile probably glowed behind it. Energetic and unfiltered, she became the face of the home cassette boom, recording commentary tracks and meeting fans at retailer conventions years before fan service was a term. When the market crashed, she vanished, only to re-emerge in the 90s anchoring direct-to-cable thrillers, and, memorably, as a vengeful victim in Rob Zombie's outlaw epic The Devil's Rejects. Zombie cast her for authenticity, explaining that Lynn carried an aura of danger you can't fake. HorrorCon attendees still line up for her autograph on both formats. Battered magnetic tape and Blu-ray steelbook, proof that she preserved a slice of analog rebellion inside digital Hollywood. Maitland Ward. As Rachel on ABC's Boy Meets World, Maitland Ward entered millions of living rooms in family-friendly prime time. After the show ended, casting calls offered diminishing returns, and by her late 30s, Hollywood had typed her as the pretty neighbor, slightly older. Ward rewrote the narrative at 42, signing a contract with a studio specializing in explicit, high-budget story features. She insisted on strong scripts, multi-day shoots, and theatrical lighting, a method she details in her best-selling memoir, Rated X, arguing that mainstream acting discipline can elevate even the most forbidden subject matter. Within 2 years, she swept Actor of the Year trophies at the industry's top award shows, posed for couture cosplay spreads at Comic-Con, and lectured film school classes on performer autonomy. Ward's pivot exposed the flimsy shelf life Hollywood assigns women, and demonstrated how a calculated leap into taboo territory can create, rather than destroy, longevity. Jenna Jameson. In the mid-1990s, Las Vegas dancer Jenna Jameson engineered a blueprint for self-ownership, exclusive contracts, cross-media merchandising, and relentless late-night talk show appearances that introduced her to viewers far beyond rental aisles. By 2004, her memoir, How to Make Love Like a Porn Star, topped the New York Times list, combining gritty confession with can-do branding advice. Cameos in Howard Stern's Private Parts, voicing Candy Sucks in Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and reference gags on network sitcoms made Jameson a pop culture shorthand for unapologetic enterprise. Business disputes and health struggles later complicated her empire, but the core achievement endures. She convinced mainstream media to treat a performer from explicit cinema as a bona fide celebrity CEO, years before influencer marketing became a term. Sylvester Stallone. In 1970, a 24-year-old Stallone, broke and sleeping in a New York bus terminal, accepted a role in the shoestring romance The Party at Kitty and Studs. The production, shot in 2 hectic days, paid him $200 and vanished, until Rocky turned the unknown into an overnight sensation. Hoping to cash in, the original producers re-released the film as Italian Stallion. Reporters tried to make the rediscovered curio a scandal, but Stallone met them head-on, calling the picture horrendous and joking that by modern standards, it would almost be PG. He then focused on his real resume, writing and starring in the Rocky series, 9 Oscar nominations, 3 wins, redefining the action genre with First Blood, and earning Lifetime Achievement honors from both the Golden Globes and the César Awards. Today, the forgotten 2-day gig survives only as an anecdote in a half-century career built on underdog grit. Jackie Chan, before gravity-defying stunts made him an international icon, Chan spent 1975 hustling small roles. One was All in the Family, a Cantonese family comedy notable for its single, brief bedroom scene and total lack of kung fu. Chan appears only in the final reel and later explained, "I had to do anything I could to make a living." Within 3 years, he flipped the script. Drunken Master fused slapstick and martial artistry. Police Story, 1985, set new standards for practical stunt work, and Hollywood soon followed Rumble in the Bronx and the Rush Hour franchise. Chan has since logged more than 140 screen credits, survived countless injuries, opened charitable foundations, and earned an honorary Oscar for extraordinary achievements in film. That lone racy cameo remains a footnote to a career built on fear-defying choreography and good-humored perseverance. Helen Mirren, drawn by its Shakespeare-style intrigue, Mirren accepted Tinto Brass's imperial epic Caligula, 1979. Midway through post-production, publisher Bob Guccione secretly inserted graphic footage that neither Mirren nor co-star Malcolm McDowell had signed up for, triggering bans in dozens of countries. Mirren kept her cool, wryly dubbing the finished cut an irresistible mix of art and genitals. Far from derailing her trajectory, the uproar highlighted her fearlessness. The Royal Shakespeare Company veteran went on to acclaimed turns in The Long Good Friday, HBO's Prime Suspect, and The Queen, which earned her an Academy Award and a damehood. Mirren's openness about risky early choices has become part of her legend, proof that bold artists can weather controversy and still ascend to the summit of stage and screen. Malcolm McDowell fresh off his era-defining performance in A Clockwork Orange, McDowell tackled the title role of Caligula, expecting a searing political drama. The film he eventually saw was a patchwork of his original work and producer-added extremity. Decades later, he still jokes, "I didn't do that pile of crap. It was hijacked." Yet the fiasco never slowed him. McDowell's swagger and menacing charm powered more than 270 credits. Cult favorites like If, blockbusters such as Star Trek Generations, and refined TV roles from Entourage to Mozart in the Jungle. In 2024, he earned festival praise for the indie thriller Thelma, proving his trademark intensity remains razor-sharp after 50 years on camera. Cameron Diaz, before The Mask turned her into America's sunshine smile, 19-year-old Diaz posed for a private bondage photo shoot. In 2005, the photographer tried to auction the images, now edited into a short video titled She's No Angel, just as Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle, hit theaters. Diaz took him to court for attempted extortion, and won. The judge sentenced him to prison, and the brief storm blew over. From there, Diaz built a run of box office hits and became one of the highest-paid comedy stars of the 2000s. She stepped away from acting in 2014 to focus on writing wellness books and investing. But a Netflix comeback slated for 2025 shows the power of handling youthful missteps with calm resolve. Simon Rex. In the early 1990s, long before MTV, a 19-year-old Rex recorded 3 solo, for mature audiences videos under the alias Sebastian. The material surfaced repeatedly, yet MTV hired him as a quick-witted VJ, and Hollywood cast him in hits like Scary Movie 3 and sitcom What I Like About You. He also reinvented himself as rapper. Dirt Nasty. 3 decades after those first tapes, director Sean Baker offered Rex the lead in Red Rocket, casting him as a washed-up hustler with charm to burn. Critics hailed the fearless performance. The Film Independent Spirit Awards named him Best Male Lead, and comeback headlines filled the trades. Rex now balances acting, music, and producing, proof that early choices, even headline-grabbing ones, need not dictate a lifetime on screen. Cybel Cilly. In 2001, the Cologne-born daughter of Turkish immigrants accepted a handful of low-budget European titles aimed at adult audiences using the alias Dilara. 6 months later, a casting director spotted her while she was shopping at a mall and urged her to audition for filmmaker Fatih Akin. The resulting feature, Head On, 2004, swept the Berlinale and earned Cilly Germany's top acting prize, the Lola. Tabloids soon exposed her earlier work. She denounced the coverage as media rape and weathered a painful estrangement from her family. Undeterred, she delivered another award-winning turn in When We Leave and found global recognition as Shay in HBO's Game of Thrones. Today, she advocates for women's rights and immigrant integration in Germany. Her career, a testament to resilience and self-definition in the face of invasive scrutiny. Takeaway. Whether by chance, desperation, or calculated risk, Each of these performers stepped into boundary-pushing territory early on. Yet, their legacies prove that a single chapter, no matter how controversial, rarely defines the whole book.